Hello and welcome to our, I assume, one-off until 2024 Euphoria review discussion Spoilercast. If you have not seen Euphoria up to the end of season 2, click off now. I know that toward the beginning we're gonna kind of not necessarily get into the end of season 2, but there might be some spoilers just in terms of our general impressions of the show, how we got into it, why we like it. So if you've seen season 2, all of season 2 of Euphoria, stick around. We're going to discuss all of the theories, the intense moments, the highlights, the sad moments that I feel like you should expect it from the show, but whatever. Getting into the panel, let's just start it off. First on my screen, I see Gino. What the fuck is up? How you doing?
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Honorary 10th member. 10th member? 9th member? What's the number?
I don't know. I'm still, that debate's still up on that one, I assume, right?
No, it's, sorry, Cleo is the honorary 10th member, Gino is the honorary 11th member, and then I think Billy is the 13th, but I don't know if that's completely correct.
Discord, set in stone in the Discord, it says Gino's the honorary 10th member. I'm just saying. Set in stone there. I'm just saying.
Within the shared screens extended universe, one of the tadpoles. Also, we have LeighErin Jass. What the fuck is up?
Hi. What's up?
I
have so many thoughts.
Yeah, we can get into that as soon as we introduce some other Josh. Josh, what the fuck is up?
Sometimes some people just need to be hurt. That's the quote, right? That's Fez's quote.
That
sometimes people need to be hurt.
Sometimes people need to
be hurt. Wisest quote.
Dude. From one of the best characters in the show, I think. And before we get into
the best,
if not the best, before we get into the general season 2 favorite characters, favorite moments, most tense moments, all of that stuff, I just kind of want to start with what is the show, and this is still, we're gonna kind of try to stay away from spoiler stuff for this segment. But like, what is Euphoria to you, Josh? Like, what would you use as your elevator pitch, as your selling point for the show?
It's the most uplifting, feel-good show. It is better than Ted Lasso. When I finish an episode, I'm like, man, I feel good. I feel good about life, all that stuff. No, this show is...
Josh, I'm thinking Sky High. You think Sky High, right? Mm-hmm. With the powers as well, right?
Yeah.
Think of that. You know, you could compare every character to it. Ted Lasso, out of the water. This is so much nicer than that, right? This is so much better than that. I'm so happy every single episode. As the episodes went on, I was just getting more comfortable, sitting back on my chair,
100%.
Back on my couch. I was like, it's just getting, real relaxing. You know what I mean? That's
real
exactly
relaxing.
What the show is,
Really though, I feel like it's a really depressing look at like high school and drug abuse and mental illness and just like how fucked up a lot of us are from society from different outlooks. And it's a really fucking good teen drama, and it goes in a lot of weird places. But also it's like mixed with this really like Breaking Bad-esque show, kind of in the middle and kind of cut in between. And you know what? I was kind of watching it last night, and I was like, "Fuck, do I like the Breaking Bad elements more than Breaking Bad? Is this recency bias? It's been 8 years since I've seen Breaking Bad, and maybe I like the drug dealer stuff here more." Hot take. But I was like, I can't take to Twitter with that, or else I'll be flamed and crucified. By Breaking Bad fans, but it's just kind of a blend of both, and I think it's fantastic. Yeah, it's fantastic.
What do you think? As you're dealing with hair in your eyes,
my veins are just in my eyeball. So yeah, I agree with Josh, except at one point. I hate calling it a teen drama just because children should not be watching this show. I'm usually not one of those people, but nobody under 18 should be watching this show. It is not meant for you. I know it's about your age group, but it's not meant for you.
110%.
I saw a video essay recently, and I apologize that I can't remember the name of the video essayist, but it was essentially saying this is kind of inappropriate that it's in their lens targeted toward teens when like typically, like, we know that HBO is kind of known for the more heady and the more adult content, so like to see a show catered for teens but to have the same adult themes, it just feels off. And I thought, like, nothing about the marketing of this show seems like it's catered toward teens. Like other than the subject matter itself, but like even like Stand By Me, which will, referenced in the show, Stand By Me is not for like young kids.
No.
Like it deals with heavy subjects.
Just because a piece of media focuses on an age group doesn't mean it's for that age group.
Exactly.
Like it's very much like for adults, and like I know people that don't watch the show don't really know it except for the marketing and that Zendaya's in it, and were shocked to find out they were high schoolers, not college kids, because they thought they were in their and I thought the same thing when I started watching the show, which was we were in the pandemic and I was running out of things to watch, and I'm a hoe for HBO content. I'll watch anything they put out, so I was like, I've heard good things, and somehow I hadn't heard anything about it before that. And then watched the whole first season. Had to take breaks because watching this while going through 2020 and the spring of 2020, summer of 2020, I was like, every so often, I'm like, this is too real. I don't think I can do this. We're going to have to take a quick...
I get that.
Quick pause.
Gino, what was your introduction to the show? Because I feel like... Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I watched it as soon as it came out because... I think it was, what is it? Executive produced by Drake. I think that's what I had originally saw. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's pretty cool. Let's see what he has, what he sees in this or whatever. And Zendaya was in it, of course. Big fan of Zendaya. So I started watching it, and as the show went on, throughout the first season, second season, these kids are like 16, 17, 18, supposed to be. I was like, why do you think? I've been in high school. Right. I've been that age. There's no way my life, or I don't think anyone's life around me was like that. That's crazy, dude. That is an insane depiction of what high school could be like. And that's like, obviously, maybe there's people in my high school that were like that. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I wasn't in that part of the school or something. I don't know.
That's the joy of watching Euphoria, though, is you go, there were probably people like this in my high school. Like, I know there were people 100%. Like this in my high school who had these issues. And you go, thank God I wasn't friends with them, because I would be in a different place right now. Like a completely different life.
No, the thing about Euphoria is that, like, at least... So now we're getting into more spoiler stuff, but like spoilers for season 1, like or was it the beginning of season 2? I don't know. I binged it all pretty quickly, but the whole Maddie and that dude in the pool, like that scene.
Yeah.
Yes. So that happened at like a high school party that I was not invited to. And I heard about it after the fact, all that stuff. But I'm just like, as I watched Euphoria, I just am thankful, like, thank God that I was a background character. Because all of the main characters go through something. Like, they either go through something in the main timeline, or we get flashbacks where, like, yo, they went through some shit. None of that. Like, I feel like the if you have a speaking role in the show, like I'm very worried for Ethan. If you have a speaking role in the show, something is going on that should be examined by either a therapist, police officer, or both. And like I'm anti-cop, all that shit, but like I'm just saying, like there are crimes that go down.
This is a show where, like, I am also pretty anti-cop. This is the show where you're like, where are the cops? Like, where is just any police officer ever?
Anybody.
Even when there are cops, like in season 2, Rue outruns them. Like, they're incompetent cops. If you're getting
has the legs of a jackrabbit, she can probably run 35 miles an hour. Like, dude, she's also a leg. When
she's a twig and she's OD and like throwing up in the middle of the street.
Yeah,
like,
but there's that that crackhead power, that adrenaline and crackhead power. And you run into the same thing of, like, when a human is running through alleys, they can go places the cop car can't necessarily go.
It's the Titanfall effect. It's the pilots versus the Titans. Just, they have to keep it balanced somehow.
Yeah. And like, the cops also are trying not to kill people, where Rue is just running into traffic and the cops are trying not to hit pedestrians. And it's just like, oh, okay. Like,
and before we get too much into season 2, Josh, what is you mentioned that you had like an interesting origin story with your coming to get caught up in the show, so want to describe that a little bit?
We don't have HBO in Max in Canada, so I could only watch this on Crave, and so I started watching this with I started watching this with a girl I met off of Hinge, and she was like, "I'm really loving the show," and I was like, I'd love to watch it. I've seen clips on TikTok. I want to know the context behind these clips, and so I kind of binged the majority of it at her place. Binged like what I thought was all of season 1, and then like watched the last 2 episodes of season 2. And then I was like, oh, I'm actually missing like a lot of content. And so I signed up for the free trial yesterday, and I binged it all within the last couple hours, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. You catch on some things binging the show back to back. Like a lot of season 1 like gives you background context to these characters versus there's only 2 episodes that do it in season 2, and I kind of appreciate that structure of being like, here's their childhood and that's why they're fucked up, and you can see it in the present. But it kind of made me appreciate that a little bit more, but I'm glad I binged it all when I did.
I mean, I was going to try to make some kind of like limp dick connection between what you said and what I was going to say. I acknowledge that like the art of the segue is very hard, and when you see someone do a segue just in real time, it's very impressive because like
Absolutely.
The question that I'm trying to ask is, who are your favorite characters? And I'm gonna start with an unconventional character.
Yeah.
Because you said like, we get to see their childhoods, we get to see their backgrounds, we get to see how they became flawed. Controversial, but Cal Jacobs, anytime that man is on screen, I am enthralled. Yeah. He is a horrible person. Yeah. He needs to be put down. He's one of the people that makes me question, up until the last episode, where the fuck have the police been this entire time? But anytime he's on screen, it is S tier Euphoria. In my opinion.
I have to cut in here to say that one of my favorite things about season 2 was when he looks at LeiGrin and goes, "Erin, your porn collection made my jaw drop." It is so fucking funny. Like Eric Dane is just like, I don't know if any of you guys watch Grey's Anatomy.
I did. That's where I was first introduced to him.
He's McDreamy's best friend.
McSteamy, right?
McSteamy, yeah. I had a huge crush on Eric Danes, more than Patrick Dempsey ever. This show ruined that. That just went out. I can't but I get it. He's a fantastic character because he just says bananas things that are so funny, but also like horrible. Like you're a horrible person.
It's stuff that would not like if you heard that someone did this in real life, you'd be like, oh, okay, like. Cancel culture is not a thing. Like anyone that's been canceled in the past has succeeded past that, blah, 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 blah. Disclaimer out of the way. If you met that person in real life, they'd be canceled. Like they would not have social ties. They would not be able, he would not have his business.
Up.
Yeah. Like it'd be really, really not okay things going down in terms of the consequences. But in a show, you're just like, oh, this is interesting. Like you're not necessarily weighing them. You weigh the morality, but you kind of wave it through the lens of, oh, this is interesting. Like, this is really messed up. This is horrible. This is some of the worst things I've ever seen. Like it's the Joffrey effect of Joffrey's doing horrible, inhumane things, but I need to see what
you
he's
love to hate them. You love to hate them. You love the whole Jacobs family. You love to hate them. The whole Jacobs family.
1,000%. Even the mom, even the dipshit younger brother, and then especially Nate and his dad. You just love to hate him. And I feel like even by the time season 2 came around, I was more rooting for his dad than Nate. Like the background context given to like why he's so fucked up, and like the fact that like his character is kind of dealing with the fact that sexuality is on a spectrum and no one's like 100% straight or 100% gay. And like when he comes back home after getting pissed drunk at the bar and he's like, you know how many dudes I've fucked? I'm like, fuck yeah, Cal, you get it.
But then he's like penis out of him. What do you guys think? Was that prosthetic?
I like to think.
Real? What do you think?
I like to think all the penises on the show were 100% legit. Also, I did watch this with a girl I was hooking up with off the dating app. Fucked up. Kind of fucked up. I was like, man, I'm kind of being put to shame right now. Like, I feel so bad.
No, okay, so like honestly, part of why I was hesitant to watch the show in the beginning is because like I am Like I am a very liberal person. I'm still like I was raised Christian. I'm still a prude on the inside. Like I'm a straight man. If I see boobies on screen, I still get like, I need to look away just off of whatever. And that kind of took me away from the show because I knew that there was a lot of nudity. Like I knew that the show, above all else, it was a lot.
So, I will give you the benefit of the doubt, Bo. Where like you see mainly the girl who plays Cassie's boobs. You don't really see many other people's boobs, but it's just so many dicks. And I don't mean to be mean here. They're not that attractive to look at. And after a while, it kind of is like, I need to not be looking at any. I need to just, this has to go away. Because it's just like,
the thing that kind of turned me, not that I'm like supporting the nudity in the show, because I do still feel like it's like excessive to some extent. But like honestly, it was the PowerPoint that Rue gave in the first season where it's just like about unsolicited dick pics, and it is just dick over and over and over again. And I just got desensitized to it. I'm just like, okay, dicks in the show, cool. Like Maddie's like I remember, like I think within Cassie's introduction, it was, hey, do you know Cassie? She has all these pictures, and then swipe through all of the pictures of Sydney Sweeney's naked chest, and then introduces Maddie. She like the first thing that she does is she turns around bare chested and is like, do I look whatever? And I'm like, okay, so if I'm gonna be hung up on this, then I just literally can't watch the show. So I just gotta turn my brain off to that. Like, and it I don't know. Like I feel like I am now more comfortable with nudity in art in general because of Euphoria. So for that I appreciate that. Also, it's still excessive. It's a lot.
I feel very much the same way, and I also feel like, there's a good amount of representation. Like for as many dicks where I'm like, oof, like I wish I could be that. There was like one, like for every 10 dicks, whereas like, oh my god, this is massive, and then like you're packing. There was like a ugly dick, and I was like, thank you. That kind of makes me feel a little bit better about myself. Like when Fez's grandma goes and shoots that dude in the legs as he's getting a blowjob, and you see the dick, I was like, you know what? I feel a little bit better about myself. Or that dude that's like wanking it to Kat in the first season, and he's like, oh, belittle me, and he just has like a micro penis. I was like,
oh my gosh,
yes,
thanks for
it's burned into my brain, and I hate it. I hate it so much.
Not the micro penis, but I feel like that's a good transition into just different storylines within season 2, specifically that kind of got sidelined. Like Kat was one of my favorite characters going into season 2. Like after season 1, I really liked her storyline. And LeighErin, you have something to say, and I was also going to go to you for the production background because I know that you know a lot about that.
I do have that. But with what you were first saying as we jump into season 2 of our favorite characters is I did the opposite of Josh and hated Nate all of the first season, and I still don't love him. He's not a good I mean, none of them are good people, but Nate is not a good person. But like the more you learn about the house he was raised in, you're like, you didn't stand a chance, and you're gonna go away to college and be exposed to the rest of the world and learn that sexuality is a spectrum and that nobody actually cares, and you have a chance of being a good person, and I just need you to get there. Like
it's the Zuko redemption arc that's on the precipice. That we just need confirmation that it's going to happen.
Especially when he gives Jules the CD and he's like, I'm not doing anything else with it. Like this is the only copy. It's yours. You get to, unless it's on the.
I was going to say.
But I'm assuming that if he fucked one person that was underage and he didn't know it, there are probably more. And so I would argue that he may have left Jules's off just to protect her. And just done the rest, but like all of that, I was like, but then he also, I think he's funny for the same reason I think Cal is funny, like the scene where he goes into Maddie's room with the gun, and he has a gun.
That was crazy.
And she goes, what are you doing here? And he goes, well, I'm not here to apologize. And then he looks at the gun in his hand and goes, can you imagine if I came into your room with a gun and then apologized? And it's like, why is that what you're thinking about right now? Like, just the way the shit he says sometimes is so funny. Like, I can't, there was another one, but I can't think of what it is that he, like, says to somebody. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, all right, we can talk about that now.
He's like Dennis Reynolds, where, like, everything that he's saying is not actually funny. Like, if you, like, just read it within the text, like, this is not funny. Like, you are being legitimately, like, threatening and terrifying. But like within the context of the show, I know that these are all actors, so I can just separate all of that and just be like, this is kind of like, this is batshit. Like when Fez broke the bottle over Nate Jacobs' head, I'm just like, oh my god, these can have serious consequences. In my head, like not knowing where it would lead. Obviously, I'm like, oh my god, someone can call the cops on Fez, and then that can lead to his home life and all this stuff. Obviously, it didn't. But like, also in the moment, I was like, yes, yes,
exactly.
This is a triumph.
He
Triumph.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also because Fez is such an unassuming guy that like, you know he's gonna do something, but like you don't really know what. And if I was Nate and he just walked up to me like that and started chatting, I would not expect that he's about to fucking dome me with a glass bottle. Like,
but also anytime Nate Jacobs is on screen, I assume that he is like 8 out of 10 drunk. Like he is one beer away from Nate Jacobs is one beer away from a blackout at all times that he is on screen.
He's scary. He to be honest with you, a lot of his scenes were scary to me. They were like, what is this guy gonna do? Because he could do anything at any moment. Like he's that type of person that you would think walks into his ex-girlfriend's room with a gun and plays Russian roulette with her on himself. That's fucking insane, dude. This guy is insane. And like every time he would be driving with Cassie going 90, drinking, not even looking at the road for 30 minutes. You know what I mean? This guy's crazy. But like that scene specifically, literally first episode of season 2, when Fez bashes his head with the bottle. What a win. And then something that Fez repeats, because LeighErin said it, he's unassuming. You don't think he's going to do that. Something that Fez repeats a lot on the show is sometimes good people do have to do bad things or whatever. And that's what he shows the whole time. Because he's done some really messed up shit. But all for somebody or for it was he's not Fez is not a bad person. He's just in a bad, in a bad situation, I guess, right? He's in a bad.
Fez and Nate are the two that like they're just in a bad situation because that's what they were born into. Like Fez's dad, beat the shit out of him, so his grandmother took him, and his grandmother's a drug dealer, but where else is he gonna go? Like, it's just not his fault, but it makes you like are weirdly, at least I am weirdly accepting of stuff that Fez does because like he's trying to be a good person while also being a drug dealer.
I mean, I feel like this is an interesting discussion because I feel like we've seen Fez and Ashtray do things that like
especially
Ashtray.
I love him so much, but he's a sociopath.
But also he is arguably more of a tragic character than Fez because he was brought in at like even a younger age, and you're one
left as collateral with the drug dealer.
Yeah, so like they do a good job of showing like, hey, these are not necessarily good people, but you like care for them and you understand why they're doing these bad things, and like if you put yourself in their shoes, you might see yourself doing the same things. Except for Cassie, kind of like with
Cassie did.
Yeah, because with Cassie, I've seen a lot of criticism about like she's just kind of become unredeemable, especially as they flesh out her backstory. Because when you see Cassie's backstory and then her actions in the present, you're like, oh, okay, I can kind of see whatever, like trauma is trauma. But then you see Lexi right there, kind of taking the brunt of it in a lot of cases. In some cases, the addition of her, like her dad and then Cassie kind of enabling her dad, and they're all children. I'm not actually blaming like the fictional children in the show, but just within the text that we've been given, I feel like Cassie has done a lot more damage than some other characters have. Like obviously not the actual literal drug dealers, but LeighErin, I see your response, and I'm very interested to see what you have to say.
Okay, so here's the thing: I love Cassie. Cassie is my favorite of the girls. Because the thing that bugs me that I don't think people like look at on when I see comments on Twitter, Cassie's mom is not a good mother. Like I see people tweeting all the time where they're like, Susie's the only good parent on the show. No, she absolutely is not.
No.
Because here's the thing. Girls do stupid. She very clearly has issues and attaches everything to love because her father left and it was never discussed. It was never said your father is a drug addict. None of that was ever said. It was just your father's gone. And if you know, I don't have kids, so I don't mean to like preach how to parent, but if you know that your spouse has substance abuse problems, you shouldn't be sending your kids alone.
Mhm.
And like Susie says to
Yeah.
Lexi in the last episode where she was like, you you had to grow up so fast because you had to be the responsible one. That's your fault, Susie. Like you should have been the one protecting them and you didn't. And now they've both
Right.
just found this way to deal. And for Cassie, it's any male who gives her attention and makes her feel like she has value, she's going to do with whatever with. That's why there is so much child porn of her out that they very clearly established in the first season. She knows is out there and can't do anything about it. It's just constantly
Right.
posted, and she did not want it to get posted, and she just had to learn how to cope. And
Mhm.
you also get into no one owns anyone. And I know in high school, your friend dating your ex seems like the most dramatic shit on the planet. It really isn't. It
No.
really isn't. Nobody owns anyone. You can't be like, "Well, I had a relationship with them and, you know, so you can't be with them. Like you two can't have." That's just not how life works. Case
Right.
in point, one of my best friends is dating somebody I dated. It's fine. I don't own them.
Yeah.
They have a relationship. I don't
Wait, but
care.
Leah, I don't mean like impose on what you're saying. Obviously, you're right. But like the in the context of the show, obviously it's over dramatized or whatever. But
Yeah.
from what we understand, Cassie starts hooking up with Nate while Maddie is still talking about him, and they're
Yeah,
still
but if
talking
Nate
to each
hasn't
other.
told her and Maddie hasn't told her, Cassie doesn't know.
Well, I feel like
you can't read
Maddie
people's
definitely
No,
minds.
Maddie
did tell
was
her though,
telling
right?
her.
Has
Maddie
she?
was
Because this
definitely
is what I
talking
was
to her about it.
confused about.
They were
This is what I
talking
was
about it,
confused
yeah.
about.
And not
Is
only
they
that, but
show her talking to
Yeah.
Kat, but I
Mhm.
couldn't remember any scene where they show her talking to Cassie and being like, "No, we're talking about getting back together." They show a ton of phone calls with Kat. It's all she does this season, and gaslight Nate. But
I mean,
I'm
either way, I
pretty
feel
Specific
like
scene, a specific scene where they're sunbathing or something, where
yes.
Maddie is talking to Cassie about Nate told me he loved me or something.
Mhm.
Still, like there's like she still knows that there is communication with Nate.
and not only
You know,
that, but knowing
Literally.
that
so
Nate is abusive. Like that's
that too,
like
Yeah.
that too.
like
You know the whole
yeah,
thing about
that's
it.
hearing your story, I'm like,
Mhm.
first of all, like you're very mature for saying that, but also like they are in high school, and not only are they in high school, they
Yeah.
are in Euphoria high school, where like nothing
Mhm.
like if Rue asked Jules for a pencil, Jules gives Rue the pencil, and then Rue doesn't return the pencil, like that is 3 episodes. So like in terms of
Literally.
the show, like I'm not saying that if
Mhm.
this happened within an actual high school, like if I had a daughter that something this kind of shit happened, I'd just be like, be the bigger person, be an
Yeah.
adult, don't fight this person. Like it's not it's not worth it. Like
Mhm.
Nate
it's just
Jacobs
I
was a
think too. It's like I wanted somebody to say to Maddie, be like, "You hated being with him. Like you guys were miserable. He's
yeah.
someone else's problem now. Let it be
She's
someone
But
well,
also
else's
that's the problem
problem."
of the show. Like all of the side or not side, but like unless you are like in my head, Jules's dad seems like a good person.
Yes.
Rue's mom
Mhm.
seems like a good person. She's in a horrible situation. She's
Yes.
trying
Yeah.
the very best that she can. I feel for her. She seems like a good person. All the other parents in the show, and I'm trying to think of any exceptions,
Not often.
kind of seem like horrible, horrible people. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
with Maddie, she wouldn't get that pep talk because her dad's a drunk and her mom is
Right.
There is that development though with Maddie at the end, literally the end, where she says to Cassie, "Oh, it's just the beginning for you," because
Yeah.
she realizes like Nate is abusive, and now he's gonna be abusive with you. So that's after
Yeah.
she did her little, beat her ass, let it out. She's like, all right, she's gonna deal with it now. I feel like that was that little
And
growth that she had there, or whatever.
100%, and that's kind of the tweet that started this, because this podcast is coming from me being in Gino's chat, and Gino see my tweet and us discussing this, and I was like, dude, Spoilercast, and he's like, Spoilercast, but like someone was like, oh, that moment that Maddie realizing Cassie being with Nate is quote unquote punishment enough, like that's everything. I'm like, did she really think that? Like Maddie got on stage and smacked the fuck out of her and chased her down a hallway afterwards. And like Cassie definitely is trying, like, I don't know. I feel like she's a tad bit like in the wrong. Like there's even the section where she's like getting ready at 4 a.m. every day just to try to get noticed. And like I think she closes the locker, and like Maddie makes a comment about still being into Nate at that point.
So really quick, with her getting ready at 4 a.m., I knew girls in high school who got ready at 4 a.m. I thought it was bananas when Cassie did it. I thought it was bananas when those girls did it. I knew a girl who got school started for us at 7:15 was when my high school started. And one of my friends who I sat next to her in science, like it was that kind of friend where you just you don't hang out outside of school, but like you just have a lot of classes together, so you talk.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting next to her, and she goes, "When do you get up to get ready for school?" I was like, "I don't know, like 6:30." And she was like, "I get up at 4:30 every morning." I was like, "Why? Why the fuck are you? Yeah. Where do you think you are? Like, what are you doing?"
She's in love with someone. She's in love with someone like Nate Jacobs.
There is no man that is worth more than sleep. Like, there is no man that is worth more than
especially
than
Nate Jacobs.
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't think Cassie did nothing wrong. She did some stuff that was fucked up. I just don't think she's beyond redemption.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Also,
I really think it's one. I feel like it's one long conversation and she's fine. Like she hasn't killed anyone.
If Susie would just fucking talk to her daughter. Susie very clearly has the correct opinions about the situation, and if she would just stop being like, I don't even know what she's doing, and just speak to her child.
Honestly, so the actor that plays Susie is Roxy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like when Frank gets married to a prostitute, or tries to get married to a prostitute before she overdoses on crack cocaine. That was Cassie's mom. So anytime I see her now, like now that I connected the dots, I'm like, oh, this checks out. This checks out. Like, of course, Roxy is gonna raise Cassie, but also, yeah, like Cassie's, she's not beyond redemption. It's just in this season they've just dug her so deep,
and that's like that's where I think a lot of characters are at. Like you ask us our favorite characters, and I think I gotta go Fezco because a lot of the teenagers are like they're kind of despicable. Like a lot of them are very despicable, especially this season. Like you watch the hour-long special of Rue's conversation with Ali, and then she's like, "Who are you to be a father?" And she's just immediately an asshole. I'm like, "Fuck you!" Like,
and then she says something to him like this season as well too. For a long time, I didn't like. For a while this season, I didn't like Rue at all. I thought, like, I'm just tired of her. Like, she's probably gonna die, and like, all right, whatever, man. Like, you did it to yourself. Exactly. Like, it got to that point, you know.
Finally said that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like episode 2 or 3 where she says that.
We haven't even talked about Rue. She's the main character.
Yeah, exactly.
Is
and
Rue
then
the main character?
That's true. I mean, yeah.
Is she many. Like? She's Zendaya. She's the name that we recognized before we started watching Euphoria. But like
she's life's main characters.
Like the whole.
And then,
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to mention the Super Bowl memes of Cassie versus Maddie. To me, that's what the show is now. It is Cassie and Maddie, and then Nate Jacobs doing some fuck shit on the side. That is what the show is to me now.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I just feel like they're all despicable. Even like Jules, like getting with Elliot and their whole like weird love triangle, and the fact that Jules like rats on Rue and Kat.
Okay, she doesn't rat on Rue.
I was gonna say,
no.
Like
Jules rats on Rue.
Elliot gets credit for saving Rue's life, and Jules gets awkward not even a conversation, an awkward sup in the bathroom, and then leaves. Like I kind of agree that like Jules' ultimate decision at the end of season 1 was kind of like, oh, I know what this is going to do to Rue, but like you are a teenager that wants to have fun with your girlfriend, and your girlfriend feels upset, and you're like already on the train. Is it selfish? Yes. Are you a bad person for making this decision? I don't think so. And then after that, I feel like Jules has done everything that she could to make up for that decision. Like in my opinion.
Rue said it herself though. That's why she spoke to Jules like in the bathroom, whatever, she spoke to her like that, because she known her longer. So Elliot doing that was less of a blow than Jules doing it to her. So that is explained to it.
Fair,
I think Leslie says it what it really is with Rue, where when she hears Jules say from the other room, we flush them, and Leslie goes, "Are you embarrassed that Jules just heard everything you just said?" I think she is. She's embarrassed that Jules heard all that, because at the end of the day, Rue lied to Jules and swore she was clean, and then became a mean drunk and a mean high, and called her all sorts of names. It was horrible. And when you're 16 and you see somebody you really care about is on this path to killing themselves, everybody and their mother tells you, go to their parent, go to a teacher, go to their parent. And that's good advice, because you know then if Rue kills herself either on purpose or by an accidental overdose, you did everything you could. Also, to defend Jules and Leslie, they didn't know that she took $10,000 worth of drugs from a scary drug dealer. They just thought she somehow got all of them. And like,
an untied loose end, by the way. Untied loose end, yeah.
I feel like if Jules and Leslie didn't, like, if they knew how much the suitcase was worth, I genuinely think they would not have flushed it. Like, if they were just like, oh, this is like what, $50 worth of pills, okay, and then dump it. Like, I feel like if they knew, like, yo, this is $10,000, and also Rue might get human trafficked if she doesn't sell this.
The meltdown that she had, though, for that, understandably, but also at the same time, I was like, well, first of all, beautifully acted, of course. You know, a lot of performances in the show are absolutely incredible. But that's when I was like, I'm done with her. I hate this girl. Like, she broke the house. Broke through the door. You know, threatened both of them. All that shit. Like, she's gonna die. And I'm not gonna feel bad. Like, that's how it was. That's how, And
especially with the impact that Ali, like, made the point about, so we haven't really addressed the Gia of it all.
Thank God Ali did that.
Right? Like, there are the memes of like, oh, all Gia does is stand around a corner and cry, which fair and funny. All of those memes are hilarious, and I want more of them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, Gia is watching her big sister, her role model, kind of go through this horrible transformation, and I feel like Ali was the only one to say something about it.
Yeah, and because Leslie, and I understand Leslie's want to be positive, because I feel like that's a thing parents do, kind of across the board. Where even with like my parents with my mental health stuff, like when I'm really like having a rough patch, kind of get like that too, where their focus becomes. But when you have another younger kid and it's something like drug addiction, where at a certain point, if the addict doesn't want help, they're not going to take it. You have to say, kill yourself. Fine. I have to. And I think it's a very valid line when Leslie says, you know, if I have to choose between losing both daughters or just one, I'm going to fight like hell to save your sister. And I really like the growth we saw with Leslie, where she gave that monologue about what it's like to hold your child for the first time and all of the fears you feel for them. And after they get diagnosis, like adolescent bipolar, like the fear that comes along with that. Like, you see a big growth in her where she has to just kind of be like, this is in the universe / Rue's hands now. We all just have to survive. And I'm not a proponent for kicking her kids out, but when Leslie tells her to leave, like, there was a part of me that was like, yeah, like, she needs somebody to scare her, because ODing and being forced into a shower and forcibly stripped by this big guy with a gun, and like watch Faye fucking inject herself with heroin in the thigh, and like all of that shit isn't enough, apparently. So like,
yeah, that whole conversation was oof, and then 10 seconds later, just you kind of have to rip that horrible Band-Aid off for the betterment of Rue as a character. But you kind of also mentioned the biggest plot hole in my head. So, and maybe we missed something, and Laurie is in the back of the guy. Like, she's Tom Holland. She's in the crowd somewhere. We just got to find her. What the fuck happened with Laurie this season? Why was that not
who's Laurie again?
Exactly.
the teacher drug dealer, and I would like to point out that I missed that she is
okay.
human traffic Rue. I don't know how I missed the lines. If you screw me, I'll sell you to some really sick people. But I did, and then I saw people tweeting about it during the finale that she was gonna that the finale was gonna start with her being kidnapped or like something like that. And I was like, wait, why?
I mean, that's the thing that made it so scary because she wasn't like, oh, like. For one thing, the very monotone demeanor that she has the entire time, she's extremely calm. And like the people that she surrounds herself with are very much not looking like that. So it just makes it seem like she's so much more in control than anyone in and outside of that house. And
she was not a typical drug dealer, not a typical one.
And then the threat of not like, oh, if you steal from me, I'll cut off your hands like some ancient laws, or I'll kill you, I'll hurt your family, I'll do everything that we imagine a drug. She very plainly, very simply. If you don't give me my money, I'm going to sell you. I always get my money. Plain and simple.
Right. And
go ahead, Josh.
That's kind of like my favorite part of season 2 is like, while I think they've written all these teenagers to be despicable, I love the drug world they set up. And that's why I do think it's on par with Breaking Bad. And if Sam Levinson just made a drug show, I would fucking watch it week to week because I love all these characters. Good, I love Faye. I love, what did you say her name was?
Lori.
Lori, I love that. Do you guys know where she's from? Do you guys know her first?
I know that she has a comedic background, but I don't know.
Do you know that? Okay, when the kids are in the elevator in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and
there we go.
she's the guard, and she's the one that's like everything is okay, and then like Karen's like it's
she
not
had worked with Zendaya before.
She has worked with Zendaya before, and I love her character.
And Faye, by the way, Faye's a porn star, just so you guys know as well.
IRL?
Yeah, she's a porn star.
Those lips injections real because they really freak me out.
I just saw
her lips are real. She is a porn star. They don't look that bad, I think. They don't look that bad, but they are real lip injections. They are real lip injections.
Wait, real lip injections is different than real lips. That's
I don't know.
Not okay. Never mind. I body modification, do what you want. I'm not. That was not like a
side note as well, though, because Faye's porn star, and like they get like people that aren't actors usually, because Fezco, if you don't know, they just found him off the side of the road.
I was like
they found him walking in New York, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And he was like, "Sure." And then look at him now.
So I knew about Faye as a character before I started watching the show because people kept making memes about her being Francine from American Dad.
Because she looks like Francine from American
Dad. And then I looked up Euphoria Francine American Dad because I was like, who the fuck is this person? Does she actually look like Francine? And then Josh, perfect. And she does. It's really funny. And also I think that I read an interview about how she met Sam Levinson at some place. And he was just like, you got a cool vibe, want to be in my show? And she was like, fuck it. And that's how Faye became a character. Yeah. Like one of the most important characters of the season was just off of happenstance of just, hey, you have a cool vibe. Thanks.
Shout out to her too. Shout out to her. This
conversation could have gone so differently if she didn't say anything. If she just went through the entire episode not saying anything, I would have been very upset. I wanted her to say something earlier, but like, I get why. Like she was scared. I understand why. Yeah, she got there.
And
go ahead.
I mean,
so I feel like what we're building up to here is the two big things in the finale, which being Lexi's play when everybody has to take a long, hard look at themselves, and Ash. Ash is the most trigger-happy child on the planet. Yeah. And like, I've loved Ash since season 1 when he's helping Kat with the Bitcoin, and he goes, "Whatever you're doing, I can hook you up, unless it's human trafficking. I don't fuck with human trafficking.
I don't fuck with that shit." Yeah,
is my favorite thing. Like, I've loved him since. I'm excited that he's going to be in Umbrella Academy season 3. However,
oh really? Yeah, that's awesome.
That's why he died. There was an interview this morning that Fez was supposed to die until like 2 weeks before they shot the scene because Javon Watton, something like that, got cast in Umbrella Academy.
That's awesome.
I honestly thought that it was. So if I'm being real, if I'm an actor, if I'm a young actor in 2022, I hear, yo, you can get Euphoria season 3 or Umbrella Academy season 3. comic book fan or not, I'm choosing Euphoria. I'm just for the bag. I'm purely chasing the bag at this point. That said,
you don't think the bag is bigger for Umbrella Academy from Netflix?
Absolutely not. I think that
he's
HBO money, dog.
I mean,
he's higher. No, but he's higher on the what is it? The call list in Umbrella Academy
and all the other people that have come up on. I personally that it's more of a me personal opinion, but the thing that I heard that I was like, oh, this makes sense. If Ash is 12 in the show right now, and also the actor, you just said his name, Javon Walton.
Javon Walton, I think his name is.
He's like an Olympic athlete. He's a boxer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's also like 12,
15.
13.
He's 15.
In real life?
Wow. Yeah, in real life he's 15. The character is 12.
But either way, in the next 2 years that this production hiatus is gonna I'm worried that he would show up to set one day. Like let's say, like I tweeted like joking, like, oh, he bodied that shit. Like he's fine. Let's say he dodges, gets shot in the neck, he's bleeding out, he's in a coma for however I don't know how comas work. He's in a coma for however long. See him one episode, he looks like, oh yeah, he looks about the same. And then because of production, you come back 2 episodes later, man looks 25.
I feel like
I feel like his his aging, his puberty
if Fez died though, I'll say I would have stopped watching the show.
Same.
I was at that point. I would have stopped.
Mm-hmm. He's the best character and the most lovable, and like he's always looking out for Jules and
we talked about him for a little bit. We haven't. I feel like we haven't spoken about Fez and Lexi.
Heart of the show,
right? Yeah, that too. But also, Bo, was your tweet a joke? I legitimately.
No, it was definitely a joke. It was a joke. Like I knew about the whole production behind the scenes. Like it's going to take 2 years and the puberty, and then I saw the Umbrella Academy stuff. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. I just thought it'd be funny to like tweet out #Ashtray is alive.
Oh wow! I thought you were legit when you were like, if HBO's taught me anything, like don't trust an off-screen death. And I was like, I don't know, did you hear him get shot? Like,
oh no,
I was gonna say if that had been serious, if
I'm an asshole, I'm not an idiot.
No, that's fine. I was just I said to Jordan that I was gonna come on here and be like, because I watched it with captions on, and it literally says gun fires, Ash's body hits the floor.
Again, Big dead earlier in the episode. I'm just saying he couldn't do it again. He's in Umbrella Academy. We know he has superpowers. I'm just saying, like, we can't trust everything that we didn't even see. I didn't see bullet through flesh. That's all I'm saying.
That was my most hype moment. Is like I'm watching it with this girl and the shootout's happening, and she's screaming and freaking out, and it all goes quiet, and she's like, "Oh my god, they got him." I'm like, "No." They didn't. And as soon as that cop starts walking towards the door, I was like, this dude is going to get a shotgun shell to the fucking face. And when that happened, I was like, let's go. And then they kill him. And then, but it's like,
this scene was a little scene that was clipped out where people that didn't watch the show were like, what is this shit?
It's like, I promise it makes sense in context.
This is the Breaking Bad part of the show, the best part of the show, to be honest with you. At the same time, I don't think that it should have gone that hard. That was an absolute massacre of a shootout. For what? And obviously, he started shooting at the cop, and he killed one. He killed a cop himself. This little 12-year-old is going freaking crazy, man.
That's the bananas part of it. Is even if they hadn't shot him, his life is over. That's life in prison, pretty much.
It's LAPD.
Yeah.
Or SWAT. Never mind.
Yeah. And he doesn't even really have a leg to stand on there because he literally pulled some Waco shit and barricaded himself in the bathroom and opened fire through the wall. Like
there was theories about why he did exactly that, because when he was doing that, I was like, why are you doing this? Like, Fez is asking you to not do this. There was theories that I saw online. You know, they go crazy with theories and stuff online. I don't know if you guys seen those, but they said that since Fezco was always on speaker with Lexi, he would always hear that he, like, you know, talking about his future and all that stuff. So when Fez was like, I'm gonna go down for this, don't worry, you're gonna be okay, Ash was like, no, even though he's younger, he was like, Fez has plans for his future.
Fez was going to go down for it either way for endangerment of a minor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, A, there cannot be legal paperwork that
he's probably
Ashtray
minor too,
belongs
for all
to
we know.
Fez. Yeah. I would assume that there is not paperwork saying that Ashtray belongs to Fez and that's like legal at all. And then on top of it, even if it was, he was keeping a minor not going to school surrounded by drugs and guns. Like Fez was going to prison regardless, my guy. Like you did not need to go that hard. Like
that's just his business partner, like they say in the show. Why are you bringing a kid here? That's my business partner.
Yeah, but at the end, don't shoot. He's just a kid. He's just a kid. Don't shoot.
Yeah.
I feel like the younger siblings in the show have kind of like I would totally be down for a spinoff episode where like Gia, I in my head it was implied, but I don't think it was confirmed that the twins are McKay's little brothers.
Yeah, they're McKay's younger brothers.
Yeah, like the little kids with the braces with the vape pens or whatever. Like like
the audacity to say to a high school junior, "Give me a blowjob."
Like I hate them. Yeah. So much because they remind me of kids that I knew that were just like, I'm young and I feel it. I am aware of my mortality and I am aware that I am on the right side of my mortality. Let's fucking go.
I feel God in this Chili's tonight.
That, but you're 12. Like, I feel like the younger siblings, and like Lexi is also, this is not for the podcast. This is just for me. Can I get clarification on the age gap, if any, between Lexi and Cassie? Because I always kind of internally thought that Cassie was like 1 year older than Lexi. Okay.
Yeah.
I always thought Cassie was younger.
No, so in school she's a year. Lexi's a year behind. So Rue and Lexi are a year, and Jules are a year behind Kat, Maddie, and Cassie. But they were all friends because, like they explained in the play, it was Cassie and Lexi were closer at the time. They all became friends. And it's like, I think she said it was like 430 days apart. So like, it's just a little over a year that they are apart.
She does say that.
It's basically the second her and the dad could have sex again, they did, and she immediately got pregnant.
Oh, wow. The mom. Okay. All right. Mom, I was like, I know the show was fucked up, but did I miss something serious? Like, good Lord.
Speaking of, do we think that was like symbolic or
of Cassie? Good?
No.
Or are you talking about Nate and Cal?
Yeah.
I thought it was because Nate mentions later that he has dreams where his dad sexually assaults him. So I assumed that was purely dream stuff.
Okay.
Like and if it was like actual, if it was real life stuff, Cal Jacobs would not be alive. He would not be in police custody. He'd be buried somewhere.
Yeah, and I can see how what happened of him finding his dad's porn and all that stuff could cause a dream like that where your brain trying to process it would do that. I just wasn't I wanted to hear other people's opinion because I jumped to that and then felt like an idiot because everybody on Twitter was like, I knew Cal touched him. I was like, am I dumb? Is this like the
No, I didn't think that either. And then I thought did he touch him like that? I don't think so. But also, we don't know if Cal is gay and he's like that or like all this. And I was like confused as well. But then he confirmed it. Like Nate confirmed it when he said like I saw his videos and then I had dreams of my dad doing this to me.
Yeah.
I also need confirmation. Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I was gonna say, the girl I was watching it with like freaked the fuck out, like when Nate's like get out of here and signals to the prostitutes to leave. She's like, oh my god, he's about to fuck his dad. And I was like, I don't think it's gonna go that far.
I thought he was gonna kill him. I thought he was gonna kill him.
Same. I was like, I don't think Nate's gonna drop down and fuck him and like be like, this is revenge. And I was like, he's gonna kill him. And then when the cops show up, I was like, okay, this is the most like, logical thing.
He's gonna fuck his dad. Now he's gonna shoot his dad in the face.
Yes.
Like,
he's holding the gun. He's holding the gun. Wow, what a
literally.
He's gonna pull out the gun and say, "Fuck me, Dad," and that's gonna be how.
Yeah, literally.
Listen,
a gun to the forehead, like.
I thought for like 10 minutes that Nate sexually assaulted the guy that had sex with Maddie. For like 10 minutes, I thought that, but like I don't think even if that had been true, couldn't tell.
You gotta think worst case scenario with Euphoria sometimes, just to like mentally prepare yourself.
Just,
you gotta think of the worst thing possible, just to feel like
the guy he had as a hostage, right, or whatever.
He
abducted
beat the
that
shit
guy.
out of,
I remember
and
like made out with
and like detached his retina. I thought for like 5 minutes that Nate had sexually assaulted him, and then I went on Reddit and there was something being like that the actor had been like, no, that wasn't what we meant to imply. It's just that he got the shit knocked out. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
But when he's in front of Cal with the gun in his, in his pocket or whatever, and then you see the sirens, that's when I was like, okay, growth. This guy is trying to do better. I don't fuck with Nate. I think he's just as horrible probably as his dad, but I understand his situation, just like I understand Cal's situation. I still think they're both horrible people, and they should get some sort of punishment for the things they've done. Like, I mean, Nate physically abused Maddie, so he should probably get some sort of something at all, because nothing's happened to him. Like, people just don't fuck with him, and he got his ass beat by Fez, which finally freaking something happened to him. But he deserves more than that.
That's why I want more of McKay as a character, because I feel like not only like, let's go ahead and take the whole Cassie connection, like let's just separate that. Right. I feel like if McKay, who's kind of been presented as like also a tragic figure, like motivated by pressure from his dad, kind of like Nate, but doesn't go nearly like is he a bad boyfriend? Yeah. Is he abusive? Not physically, at the very least. Like psychologically, you can argue. Like
emotionally, very.
Emotionally, you can argue, but like you can also point to the frat breaking into his bedroom at the time.
Also,
like, that was,
real quick, if anyone listening out there is the pledge president, stop with the drinking the live goldfish thing. It's tired. Everybody, you stop it. It's not, everybody expects it now. You're not shocking anyone. Stop making pledges swallow goldfish.
Make them shoot a deer.
That happens with a
crossbow. We need to get extreme. I'm just saying, let's not be generic anymore. Let's go full tilt. Go.
Yeah. Also, it's not funny to pretend to sexually assault your pledges. Don't do that either.
Wrestle a congressperson if you want to be in our frat. You gotta make them tap out.
Right.
You can pick which congressperson.
It doesn't have to be politically motivated. Just the closest one to you. You can be lazy with it. Just take them down. 10 seconds. Have them tap out.
100%.
You're the frat.
You're good.
100%. That is one of my biggest disappointments with season 2, though. Is I liked McKay in season 1, and he is not in here whatsoever. I mean, fuck. We get more character development from the vaping girl. That is
who I love. I would die for her. She's the best.
Like we hear about her babies.
Right?
McKay went to college, but like if you're gonna introduce a character that is already like he's a senior in college or a senior in high school, and he's like practicing with the college at that point, like And I feel like they could have done like his storyline was generic as fuck.
Yeah, I never saw him as a main character.
Yeah, but the show itself is like I feel like everything is a little generic. It's just done to like a 10. Like Rue is the I'm a druggie. Like it's the first time we've seen Zendaya in high school as a drug addict. But like in terms of the drug addict and narratives, like we've gone through the beats. Like I'm gonna try to get sober for this person I like. I'm gonna relapse. So no, I'm gonna get even further into it than I was before, and then I'm gonna try to relapse and get out of it. But oh no, my past is gonna catch up to me in season 3. Like
how much better did she look, by the way, when she went through all that?
Anytime Rue is sober, I'm just happy because you can see it visibly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They do a really good job with that.
Yeah, they do a really good job.
Can we talk about the song at the end of season 1? The musical
Elliot song?
No,
at the end of season 1. We can talk about the Elliot
You said
song,
season 1, okay.
Yeah, the Elliot song pisses me the fuck off. That especially because I'm like, I need more of literally everything.
Good song. Man, when it's not done yet.
3 minutes of the 4. Cut 3 minutes of the 4. Show me the body for Ash.
Finishes the whole song.
Show me Maddie's fist making contact with Cassie face. Give me a 3-minute soliloquy of Lexi being like, I've learned something from putting on this play. I don't need a full song.
Rue fucking goes, never speak to me again. This motherfucker goes, can I play your song?
It's the victorious meme of you couldn't say I couldn't sing.
Did you see him see all the response to that? By the way,
he was on Twitter or something, right? He was like, "You're gonna hate me after this episode," and then
very humbled.
Very humbled. That's all he said. And like, I didn't have a problem with it as I was watching it, because I was like, okay, Dominic Fike is gonna be Dominic Fike and sing a song. Whatever. Like, that's probably why he's here.
Three nights, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they're gonna like release it. They're gonna release it on
Spotify,
on like streaming services after the fact. So I didn't have a problem
Friday afternoon
with it while watching it. And then when I like got on Twitter and people were like, "That was 3 minutes of your finale," I was like, "Okay, maybe that's a bit of a problem."
That's the thing. I remember pausing it and being like, I am assuming that this is me being anxious and me extending the time in my own head, where like every 30 seconds feels like 30 minutes. I thought that was the case. And I'm like, okay, so I think 2 minutes have passed. I'm sure 30 seconds have passed. And I click and it's like 2 minutes have passed. And I'm like, fuck. And then it kept going.
Yeah.
Right.
My man sang a whole fucking song.
It did.
Like, it was a good song, but it wasn't like the song at the end of season 1. I think it's All For Us is the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the
song
the song that made me Google, did Zendaya sing the song at the end of Euphoria season 1? Yes, she did. She fucking killed it. Yeah. And then I watched the video on like the Genius video on the production of it. I'm a sucker for Gregorian chants and choruses in a song, like especially if it's used well, and the motif that's been just peppered throughout the entire series. It's just so good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. To go back to Elliot's song as well, she also wrote that song too, which is cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she wrote
Zendaya?
it. Zendaya wrote that song, yeah. She wrote it with Labyrinth, who's obviously doing all the music for Euphoria. Awesome freaking job.
Yeah.
Obviously. Like
incredible. Yes. Yeah, both the written stuff that Labyrinth has done, as well as like their licensed music. Like HBO keeps updated playlists on Euphoria, and you can literally just hit shuffle and they're all fantastic.
All of them are good, yeah. That All For Us with Zendaya. There's one specific, there was a Nate theme, I think, that was really I forgot what it was called. Ice Mountain or something, I don't know, something like that.
But there was a particular
Mount Everest. Yeah. What an intense
think I shit on me.
With Nate. Yeah. Crazy.
Speaking of singing, the fucking play.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's get into the finale itself.
Love Lexi. Don't get me wrong, she's great. You cannot do this ever. I understand that sometimes people need to be hurt, that sometimes people need to be shown how they are hurting or affecting other people, but that should be in private, not in front of the entire school. Because like, even if I was Maddie, who like comes out looking fine out of that situation, I maybe don't want the entire school knowing that my parents are fighting. And like, you didn't check with me. And all I could think of was when I was an undergrad, so I was in a theater department, and at the end of every semester, we did like a play festival where like people would write plays. And one year, this girl got upset that her friend with benefit, fuck buddy kind of dating, like, you know, when you exist in that really weird like situationship in between, ghosted her, and then like a week later started dating another girl in the department and was like saying he was in love with her. Her solution was write a 15-minute play about their entire relationship and include mixtapes that he made her, read text messages that he sent her about his parents and like his fears for life and the future, private notes he had written her, like really deep shit. And we all had to sit there and watch it happen. And let me tell you, nobody was mad at him. Like, all of us were like, why did we have to be here for this therapy session? Like, I don't. Bo?
Did it have the production value that Lexi's play had?
No, because this was like college students doing it with like what was in our rehearsal spaces and that kind of stuff in 24 hours. But like
the production value, I feel like the emotional set pieces, and the fact that in the second episode, the second play episode, like the last episode of the season, they kind of revealed that like the NPCs, like the background characters, the us at Euphoria High School, they didn't know that this was about real people or people in the crowd. So I'm like, I'm not saying that Lexi is right to do so. I'm not saying that like if I saw the play, like if I was in the play and I knew that as soon as it started, oh my God, this is about us, that I would be like cool with it. I'm just saying if I was a random ass student at Euphoria High School, 10 out of 10 Lexi. Like more of this. It is, especially when you add the element of like the people in the crowd didn't really know that Cassie running on stage was legit. Like I'm sure some people were like, oh, that's bullshit. But if the official story is that's a part of the play, to me, this is I'm bringing my friends from out of state to see this high school play. Like I'm not even a theater person. Like it is phenomenal. The music, Josh, please explain your background because it is one of the best things I've seen on TV in the last few years.
110%. I was gonna say, if you're at Euphoria High School and you don't know that this is definitely directed towards Nate Jacobs,
yeah,
you got problems.
That's the thing. Is you got everyone knew who that was directed at. There's not. They probably like, is this part of it? But they fucking knew who it is. She's so specific. Like, how many kids at your school OD and everybody thought they were actually dead for 3 weeks? Like, Lexi's not subtle about who it is.
Exactly. But I love this bit. I love the use of holding out for a hero during it, and I don't know, Nate's reaction to it's a little weird where he's like, that's your fucking sister, Cass. I'm breaking up with you. And it's like...
And him yelling, that's homophobic.
Yeah. I'm like, no, dog, that's fucking empowering the LGBTQ plus community. That's not fucking homophobic whatsoever, dog. That's saying get out of that closet, man. Strut your stuff, man, you know?
However,
like, how's that homophobic? I
understand how a child who is struggling with their sexuality can come to that it's homophobic because it's basically saying that, like, in the locker room, you just want to fuck all of your friends and kind of playing into that stereotype of, like, if you're gay, you want to have sex with all the men around you.
It just gets in the way of, like, actual male, like, genuine intimacy and friendship and bonding. But also it's hard to apply that, like, oh, he's a young closeted gay boy. Like, it's hard to apply that lens when he looks 30 fucking 5.
Well,
like, it's very distracting. I feel like if he actually looked younger, then I'd feel a lot more sorry for him. But I'm just like, you can punch a hole through the Empire State Building. I don't know if I, like, want to give you, like, I know that it's right to give you empathy, but just for my own safety, I don't know if I should, or you might punch a hole through my chest like Superman in Injustice.
Well, to make you feel any better, Jacob Elordi, who plays him, is the complete opposite of a human. He's just like
he's a sweetheart, dude.
Yeah. His 24 Hours with Vogue just came out, and him with his dog is so fucking funny, and he's Australian. He's hot as fuck. Anyways, I was with the holding out for a hero scene until the orgy moment, and that's where I was like, okay, we may have crossed the line there.
Having
the Nate Jacobs character, who is literally named Jake, like, anally fuck a guy on stage while everybody else is, like, touching each other and shit, may have been, like, a step too far. Like,
but he also has the same scar.
Like it's Nate has. Obvious. Like,
oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
and I feel like the comedy of, like, the physical comedy of what's his name? Is it Jared? The Ethan. Thank you. Ethan. The physical comedy of Ethan not being the fucking Nate Jacobs type, but him still like making the poses and stuff. Like, you would have to know.
And it's a scrawny kid just, like, screaming and flexing and stuff like that.
And also, it's perfect. I didn't realize until after the fact that I saw, like, the cast photos of the actors hugging and stuff that within the play, Ethan was also playing Susie.
Yeah,
he was
I thought it was a completely different actor. That's so funny.
No, that's why when Susie runs on stage and is like, it's not her fault, she's a writer. No, you should be mad at your child for doing this and not warning you. And she goes, Ethan, you were great. He's me. He's me. Her being excited was very funny.
I loved everyone's reactions, different reactions to starting to realize that this is them. Well, specifically and deeply, I loved Rue's because once she started realizing, it sort of started to become like part of her healing process as well. Because she was able to hear this from somebody else. And, you know, we saw her eulogy like 50 times this season. So seeing that and her listening to it and stuff like that, it was a huge part of her healing process. So the fact that she loved that play, I was like, yes. Like, if anyone's going to love this, I think it's going to be Rue. because of how she is. Yeah.
I think the play exists to be Rue. Again, if I was Rue, I might be a little annoyed that she included the entire eulogy. Like, it could have been 3 lines, and that would have been okay too.
Right.
But I do like that she kind of sees it as a moment where like her life kind of has value again, and for like a split second, who's fucking who is no longer the main point of conflict in the show. Somehow in a show that it only has like 1 male cast, it still doesn't really ever pass the Bechdel test, which is bananas. I didn't realize that was possible with such a big group of women.
Damn. I mean, the showrunner is like a like, I don't know much about Sam Levinson, but like he is just kind of like a dude, right?
Yeah. He's just like a dude who found this Islamic show about drug addicts and was like, "Oh, I was a drug addict in California when I was in my teens and like almost died. I'm gonna make a show about it with Zendaya and Maud Apatow."
Yeah, that's Maud Apatow has slowly risen to become one of my favorite nepotism babies. Because like in my head, it's like Willow Smith,
Jaden Smith.
I mean,
I'm
Jaden. I feel like I was on the Jaden Smith train like kind of early. As soon as he showed up to the Kanye wedding as Batman, I'm like, I don't give a fuck who your parents are. You need to succeed.
Oh, Jaden and Willow are still very talented. Like,
oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, Maud Apatow. I was like, I kind of forgot that Lexi was a character until this season.
And yeah, it was really nice. She had her time to shine. Yeah.
As soon as she and
like her time to shine, not just like from an like audience, us the viewers looking in, but her time to shine in the show with amongst these people as well, which I thought was like pretty fucked up. She kind of like she got identical people for the characters that they're playing. So like maybe she could have taken some liberty with that so that they don't really realize that it's them, but her having that sort of uncertainty that whole time, like, am I gonna, are people gonna get mad at me? Because she thought they were, and obviously they did. She didn't expect it was gonna go that hard. But her having that support from Fezco, which, I think is actually wise for whatever he does. He knows what he's saying, and you learn a lot from him in this season where like he's seen Stand By Me and like all these other like old shows. Yeah, like he knows all this stuff. He's wise beyond his age or whatever. So her taking sort of that advice from him, she was just like, you know what, fuck it. It doesn't matter if people get hurt. I'm doing this for myself, So I thought that was very nice. It was very good for her to shine like that.
I just would have been afraid of Maddie.
Yeah.
I would be afraid to bring up with the girl who confidence and being tough is her entire persona. Bringing up this stuff where she's very vulnerable. I'd be a little afraid. Especially because she already wants to murder my sister. If she breaks into my home and murders my sister, I'm literally in the same room.
And like just a little bit of self-preservation. Like markedly different, like more ethnic name than just going from Maddie to Marta, and like everyone else has very similar, just Western European names, and then just from Maddie to Marta, you're Marta now. Like that, I thought that was a funny, subtle choice that like. And I don't even know if fucking Sam Levinson noticed it, but as soon as I noticed it, I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
But
that's kind of really funny.
Maddie's reaction too at the end where like she was mad like for a little bit there. And then like she starts to see like, obviously Cassie is the bad person here in this play. So she's like, she started supporting it. She was like, yeah, dude, like that's freaking great or whatever. Like I love that whole.
She got real lucky that Maddie was more mad at Cassie because if Nate and Cassie hadn't happened, but the play did. Because like how Lexi says that like Nate and Cassie getting together wasn't even in the play. If that had never happened, Lexi just writes the rest of the play. Maddie would have beat the shit out of Lexi. Like you got so lucky that this became an enemy of my enemy is my friend situation here. Like damn.
110%.
I mean, so now that we've kind of discussed the play, we can kind of move into the as we close it out. We can move into the potential aftermath of the play. We can talk about the loose end that is Lori. We can talk about anything that we kind of want to want to see in season 3 and things that we think we'll see in season 3, things that we want to see in season 3 that we know will not, like, just we know that it probably won't happen because of,
Yeah.
like, I feel like we didn't really discuss the behind the scenes stuff between Sam Levinson and the actor that plays Kat. I'm not sure her name in real life, but I know that
Barbie Fiera.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but Sam Levinson wanted to introduce like a storyline with where she had like a like body dysmorphia or some kind of eating disorder, something along those lines. Yeah, and she kind of pushed back against that. She got deleted from the show.
Pretty much,
yeah, and she becomes despicable, like the way she treats Ethan in that diner scene when they break up, and she's like gaslighting him is fucking disgusting. And I like, because I rooted for her so much in season 1. Like I was like, fuck yeah, Kat, like fucking get it, get the bag. Like,
yeah,
I love the message behind that character, and she just becomes despicable because of their beef. And I don't know if she's been confirmed for season 3 yet.
I mean, yeah, like honestly,
I'm pretty sure they wrote them off.
Yeah. Like, I'm okay with Kat being despicable, to be honest with you. I thought that the turn of her kind of getting, like, she wanted to get with Ethan. She got with Ethan, realized, I'm kind of above this now. Like, not, like, I love their relationship. I think Ethan is a good guy in the context of the show, like, from what we've seen. But also, like, her kind of becoming the villain, like, I was on board with that story at the very least. So I'm like, even if you're going to make her be a bad person, like, if you don't want to, if your plan A didn't go well, at least if your plan B is to make her a villain, make her a villain. I feel like she's a compelling character regardless. I just want to see more of her, I think. But yeah, in general, what do Gina, what do you want to see in season 3?
I want to see Fezco not in prison the whole time, because we know he's going to prison. I want to see some sort of, loophole around that. Maybe, something different happens or something. Because I will watch it since he is not dead. So if he died, I would have stopped immediately. Not even finished the episode. I would have, just stopped right there. But I think the show, I feel like this season specifically was sort of just all over the place. There was a lot of weird character decisions, a lot of weird writing decisions, a lot of weird things that maybe just got changed around the end and they just like went with it or something. But obviously what sucks is Rue is sober. Hopefully she stays sober. If not, if she doesn't stay sober, she's going to die. I'll guarantee that she'll probably be dead by the end of the show, and that'll end the show like that. But I assume a prediction for what we're going to see with her specifically next season is all the repercussions of everything she's done from this season. Running away from the cops, maybe that'll be coming back. That $10,000 of drugs that she took. Everything that, obviously she's still on the road to recovery, so that'll be an issue. All the relationships that she ruined, everything, all this stuff is going to be sort of just a road to apologies for her. She said to Elliot she has a lot of apologies to give, not a lot of forgiving. So that's something we'll see. Nate, with Nate specifically, I know he's on the path to sort of this, redemption, but I don't think he deserves that yet. He hasn't really gotten punishment for what he's done. Somewhat, but not really, not deserved punishment. And who else am I thinking? I love Maddie. I've always loved Maddie from the beginning. Maddie's freaking awesome. So, but she seemed like she was pretty much breezing through. Like she's growing up already. Like I feel like is she getting groomed?
Oh, for sure.
She's getting groomed by that lady,
we never
right?
addressed the camera in the closet.
The lady Maddie is 100% giving her the dress. She's about to be like kidnapped and put in a cabin somewhere.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that. I don't think it's going to be like kidnapped or whatever. I think it's going to be a subtle like, hey, I'm the cool hot older lady that you are talking to, that you kind of want to be like. I know that if you want to frame it with this, like you wearing my dress kind of means like you want to be me in some way. I can guide you to that. That said, you got to give me something horrible on the side. I don't know what specific, but something there's going to be a cost that's not going
I
to be
guess the whole grooming thing, that does make sense now. I sort of caught on. It was a little weird to me. I didn't get grooming, but now that you mention it, and then with the connection of she was supposed to be naked in that pool scene, like she was supposed to show up naked. But she
Maddie
pushed that.
or the lady?
No, the lady.
Okay, I was gonna say because if it was Maddie, that's bold.
Yeah, she was supposed to completely flips the dynamic.
The lady was supposed to show up naked. She pushed back to Sam Levinson about it, and he was like, "Okay, that's fine. Just do it, whatever." I feel like if she showed up naked, then I would have been like, oh, "Okay, she's doing something here."
I mean, the camera. In my head, the fact that the payoff for the camera in the closet was not like, "Hey, you've been babysitting my kids and you are changing your clothes and blah blah blah." Like it wasn't narky. It was more just like enabling. That seemed more terrifying to me.
Yeah, it's scary.
Like it went from, oh my God, Maddie could lose her job to, oh my God, Maddie might end up in Paraguay or something. Like I don't know where the fuck this is going to end up. Like I don't know what's happening.
Because like like I'm not saying that like I know that there are adults out there that give alcohol to minors, but that's a bold choice that you have to make because that's a big crime. You heard that woman would get her child taken away from her. And the fact that you're like whining and dining this like 17-year-old girl with no real motivation, I'm very concerned and I feel like Maddie's not seeing it and it's not her fault. Like I don't know if I would see it at that age, but I'm like I need somebody to tell you that this is that like you should be on alert. Like just
damn it, that's crazy. Because she really doesn't have like a mother figure, so she's gonna see that lady as that, right? And then, but
her mom is gonna see any of it because it's all happening at this woman's house. Like nobody else is seeing.
And from what I don't remember the character's name, but she's not married from what we know. Like she's not living. She's a single mother with a giant.
No, she has a really rich husband who travels for work. I think.
Missed
you just never see her
husband and her,
her
husband and her go on a date and they relieve Maddie from her duties and like the woman like calls Maddie back to unzip her dress and she's like, oh, you know, Jonathan's in the other room. But when that was happening, I was like, yo, is she gonna like propose a threesome with Maddie and her husband?
Literally, it seems like a porn setup.
Literally.
The fact that we think this, dude, because the show sets stuff up like that, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. Exactly. I was like, fuck, they're about to start using like Maddie in the bedroom, and this is gonna be kind of like fucked up.
I mean, Josh,
it's like that terror that Maddie's gonna do it because she likes getting nice things, and this is my concern: is that Maddie's going to accidentally prostitute herself.
100%.
Or knowing, like never mind. I was going to say, well, maybe this could be a way for Kat to kind of come back into the picture about like, and then just have a discussion about like the agency within sex work. Cause I feel like the show started going down that line and then Kat and Sam Levinson got beef. So now that storyline is just getting completely thrown out of the picture. But LeighErin, just in terms of your general final thoughts on the season of season 2 and then predictions for season 3, what are your thoughts?
I want more characters to hit rock bottom because like I was saying with Nate. Well, no, it's because like I was saying with Nate, where like there's a part of me that knows like if he just gets some therapy and like leaves this town and like realizes he can cut off his family, he could be redeemed. I agree with Gino. I don't think that can happen until he's forced to face actual like heavy consequences for his actions, however that would come about. And I think that could be the beginning of it. So like, he's figured it out with his dad. His dad's out of the picture, and he's kind of patched things up with Jules and is learning to accept that not everybody has to like him and all that kind of stuff. But I would still like to see him hit a little further down. What I would really love to see is him to go in and tell the cops that he forced Tyler to lie and that he's the one who choked Maddie. What I would like to see as his next step. Because I think that's the big thing still left.
Yeah.
And I mean, Rue, I have a feeling because Rue is kind of based off Sam Livingston in a way that she's not going to die. But I would like to see her also have to make those amends. And I would love to see someone not forgive her. Because like, I don't want her getting off completely scot-free of because it's a very real thing, like with addiction, with anything. Not people don't have to forgive you just because you ask them to doesn't mean they have to, and that's valid. And you have to find out how to deal with it when it happens. And I would just like to see somebody not automatically forgive her just because she's Zendaya.
Yeah, valid. Josh, what are your thoughts on the closing of season 2 and your hopes for season 3?
I liked it. I liked the way it wrapped up. I like what we got about Lexi, because we didn't really get a whole lot of that character. We never got her background, and like we see that she like sees her dad on the night he leaves, and that was kind of a big moment. Like it's like, holy shit, she's been through a lot, and so I love that the play really gets to showcase her life. I think the season as a whole, like we said, it's messy. I like the structure a lot more to season 1. Like season 1 is genuinely like one of the is a great season of television. And yeah, like a lot of the characters become despicable, and I like Sam Levinson is developing this drug world that I'm a lot more interested in now than the actual high school portion, and I'd love to see more of that in season 3. There's been interviews with Cal Jacobs, that actor, and he's like, "Oh, big redemption arc coming in season 3," and a lot of people are like, "No, don't." I think it'd be cool if his redemption arc had to deal with Fez, since they're both going to prison. If he I don't know how you quote unquote sacrifice yourself in prison, but if he like protects Fez or helps Fez get out of prison, like I would like that quite a bit. I know, and then like yeah, I kind of agree with the Rue stuff where like the play helps Jules sympathize with Rue, because like Jules finally gets to see how fucked up like Rue was because of her father dying, and that like the play lays it out in front of her so much so that she like comes to Rue at the end, and Rue kind of walks away and is a bit of an asshole. So I'd like to see Rue go back to Jules and Jules be the one this time to be like, no, like I'm sorry. And then I don't know. I'd like more McKay. Please just give me more McKay. I would have loved to see McKay's reaction to this play, but we didn't. So I'd like there to just be some more McKay, and maybe McKay finds out about the play and what's going on, and maybe there's friction between him and Nate. But that's about it.
Yeah, I agree with the wanting to see more McKay specifically to interact with Nate, mostly to be like, yo, we both come from fucked up backgrounds, but like you do some fucked up shit. Like I think that'd be a very interesting conversation to have. I think her name is Bobby, the stage manager. Yes. The stage man, she needs all the screen time, because she gives
100%.
For community fans out there, she gives Frankie Dart energy from season 6. Frankie Dart is one of my favorite characters in Community, and I know that she's like not necessarily beloved because she's only in season 6, and season 6 is whatever. But I love that kind of character, that very much like I am all or Sue from Veep. Just I'm always on. I am always maintaining, like everyone else in my circle, they have to be on because I am on, and that's just my personality. I love that kind of the kind of character work. In terms of season 3, like I'm not sure what I want. I would like a bit more resolution in the storylines that have been set up. I would like to see Lori again. I kind of want a full episode of Gia just to see what she's got going, because like learning that she's not doing well in 100%. School, I'm like, shit, okay, like you're going through some shit that could be worth an hour worth of HBO drama. Like I would watch that. In terms of Cal and Nate, I kind of just need them to get to a point where they're just like, I'm going to work on myself in whatever way, whatever that means. If that's Cal in prison reading a bunch about sexuality and how everything is a spectrum and it's all made up, that's great. If it's Nate taking a theater class, I don't fucking know. I don't know. I just need these people to have some level of like individual development for me to feel okay continuing watching the show. Because if it's just, hi, we're miserable people causing misery upon others for an hour, and it's very well edited and very well curated and stuff, and the lighting is fantastic, like I feel like my interest in the show will wane over time. That said,
110%.
any general closing thoughts on the show. Any reasons, any pitches for why you should watch the show, especially after season 2? Any main criticism, any memes you want to share, anything? No? All right. Watch Euphoria. Season 3 comes out in 2024, right?
2024, dude.
We'll all be
that's
old and
be over it by
that's
then.
a pain in the ass. Yeah, but honestly, hold out and then binge these 2 seasons right before season 3 comes out. You will.
Yep, this wait is going to be a lot.
Don't regret it.
Yeah,
absolutely. I do hope there are more specials, and like you were saying, like you could go with like a whole season of just the younger siblings. I hope those become the specials. Like if they're like, like holiday special dropped and it's like about Gia dealing with Rue at Christmas or something like that, I would be, and like seeing Gia's like past Christmases or something like that, like anything with just Gia and the younger siblings or any of the side characters. I'd love for those to just be like hour-long specials.
Agreed.
For it. Absolutely.
Anyone else? No.
Crazy show, man. Crazy show.
Crazy show. Yeah. I wanted, like, I was going to try to give some kind of general mental health, like, hey, if you need help, then get help, but that's not at all helpful.
Like how they have that at the end of the credits.
Yeah.
Rather than at the beginning of the show.
I want them to do it like early 90s, early 2000s, Saved by the Bell, that like halfway through the show it stops and that someone in the cast is like, hi, I'm, Sydney Sweeney. And if you're this shit Degrassi used to do, that's what I'm looking for.
They could get away with that because like this show does break the fourth wall, and I love it when the show breaks the fourth wall, and like when Rue straight up talks to the audience and is like, I know I'm the main character and you're expecting me to do this, but fuck that, or like you're expecting to see this, but like you're not, or whenever like the detective bit she does when she like finds out what Nate's doing to Jules, like I love the fourth wall breaks, and I want more of that in season 3, more fourth wall breaks, and I think that would be a funny way to deliver the kids help phone message.
And last thing too, a lot of people spoke about how this glorified taking drugs in the first season. I don't think this show glorifies any of that at all. Like you absolutely hated Rue,
If you watch the show and go, I'm going to do hard drugs, reevaluate your life choices.
Yeah. Those people were lost before episode 1. I believe that. So I guess to close out the episode, thank you to everyone that's joined us. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like. But in general, fucking don't do hard drugs. And if your friends do hard drugs, be patient with them. They're going through some shit. Talk to each other. Jesus Christ.
Narc on them, dude. Narc on them, bro.
If you're in high school, if they're doing some real shit, narc on them. But like if you're in high school, have a conversation. It's not the end of the world. Write a play about your friends if you have the production value to back it up. I'm trying to put my phone in my pocket and I'm just failing because my pocket is too small, apparently. I don't know. I'm worried that me clanging my phone against the chair is going to end up in the audio, and now I'm talking about it. I don't know. I want to give a general message because like the show is very deep and very like dark.
Yes.
And if you haven't watched the show before, you probably wouldn't have sat through an hour and 15 minutes of us talking.
Yeah, something like that.
It's been
an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Okay. Very healthy chunk of time. You know what the show is. Let's fucking wait for season 3. Gino, where can people find you on social media, on the internet in general, or in real life if you want to give your address out?
If you want to dox yourself.
I say that sometimes as well, believe it or not. You can find me over at 2399. I'm just kidding. You can find me on Twitter at Gino_Viteri, and you could also check out my gaming podcast, The Whatnots, on Twitter and all your podcast services of choice. There you go.
LeighErin, other than shared screens, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at LeighErin Jazz. And if you like, if you're trying to get into the MCU or just want to recap of stuff leading forward, I do a podcast with Jordan from Shared Screens and our other friend Victoria, called Marvel Schools for Dummies, and you can follow us at Marvel School Pods on all social media.
Josh, where can people find you other than youtube.com/shared screens?
On all social media platforms at some other Josh. That's simple. Just yeah.
What about Hinge and Bumble and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, Hinge, Bumble, all those. Just set your locations to Calgary, Alberta. You'll find me, match with me, send me a super like, start a conversation with me. Anything, yeah.
All right, and I am at Brother Grimbo on Twitter. I deleted my Instagram because I don't take pictures of anything, really. And you can also find just random stuff at youtube.com/shared screens, which if you're watching this on YouTube, then you've already found us. Hit subscribe. If you're listening on any of the podcast services, I have no idea if this is going out as audio only. But if it is, find us literally everywhere else. Your goal for the night is to find all of our social media pages, to follow all of us, to send us a tweet or an Instagram post, anything, and say, hey, really liked Euphoria. And if you don't, then we will send Lori after you. She exists in real life.
Literally.
It's not a role.
Yeah.
She will actually human traffic you.
Go promote the hashtag get Chris and LeighErin into Star Cruiser.
Yeah, hashtag get Chris and LeighErin into Star Cruiser for sure.
Mm-hmm. Also, watch Coldplay Replay because Jordan wanted to start beef between Tea Time.
Yeah, Jordan was like, "I'm going to become the
Oh man,
Tea Time doesn't do better."
Now we got to pump.
Is he the Joker already?
I
mean, come. I mean, anybody's gonna really pass Coldplay Replay. Let's be honest.
Joker, stay tuned for our the Batman review and spoiler cast coming out soon.
Yes. Oh my God.
I honestly don't know what else to promote. So unless anyone has anything to interject in the final moments, we're just going to say...
I got BTS tickets. You
did?
Huge deal, dude. I'm freaking out. I'm super excited, guys. Good seats and everything.
Fake out. We're actually going to go for another hour talking about BTS. Welcome to the BTS podcast. I'm just kidding. Thank you for joining us for this hour and a half. We love you all. Watch Euphoria. Don't do hard drugs. Love each other. Shared screens.
Kiss the homies on the lips.